Okay, here we go. Little live today called "We're Only Making Plans for Nigel." I was trying to get the old XTC song from the 1980s of the same name, which would have been a very fitting start to the stream. But I think this stream is me saying I hope I'm proved wrong, but I don't think I will be. Um, I'm hoping that what Nigel is doing is going to somehow make a difference in our country, make a difference at this election. I think it will make a difference to a certain extent, but I don't hope it will. If it does, it'd be absolutely amazing. I don't think I'm going to prove wrong. I still believe that Nigel is going to hand the keys to 10 Downing Street with a massive majority. Then that means everything is focused to what happens in the next weeks, months, and years. We've got to build something. It's our country's future has got to be built on more than 1, 2, 3, or even 50 men. It's got to be built on the populace, the great British people, the 37 million people that I believe think the same way that we do. I said 30 million at the weekend, but when I went away and did the maths, I think it's 37 million people believe what we believe. Not like this little stupid 25-year-old girl who's thrown a milkshake in Nigel's face. And what worries me about these attacks, because Tommy's had it, Nigel Farage's had it before. We've all been in situations where we've been confronted or threatened with violence, or actual violence has been perpetrated against us as we've been involved in our political movements. And what terrifies me, it doesn't terrify me, but it worries me for these very high-profile guys that one day it will be something more sinister that's thrown in their faces. And again, what that means is there's less access for the British public to people like Nigel Farage, to people like your local MP, to people like Tommy, and it's getting that balance. And I know from being with Tommy, he always wants to be in among the people, finding out what the people want and what they care about. So Nigel did his big speech today, and I listened. It was a good speech. Listen, Nigel knows how to play the crowd. He is an excellent communicator. Never going to take that away from him. Do I think he's the answer for the country? No, I don't. Am I right in that? I don't know. It's my opinion. I think there's going to be a big problem when Labour get a massive majority and Farage is the one that everyone can point the finger at and go, you did that, Nigel. What he says is probably quite true, that the Tory party have done it to themselves. They're absolute wretches, terrible people. But is Nigel going to be the answer with him and his little elite club, which is really a Tory party light? I don't think so. I still think we need a working class people's party, a party of all the genuine British people. See, Nigel Farage has excluded vast swathes of the patriot community from joining his party because of previous associations and because of things done in the past. If you were a member of For Britain, which had exactly the same policies as UKIP and several other small parties, and very similar policies to Reform, except obviously Reform don't talk about the ideology that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, as I've just found out. If Reform had the same policies on that issue, there would have been very, very little difference between Reform, Brexit Party, UKIP, For Britain. But if you've ever been associated with For Britain, the EDL, or any of the small fringe parties that people frown upon, then you can't join the Reform Party. It was the same with UKIP. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, in terms of Nigel, fair play to him. He's getting out there. He's doing his bit. He's standing up. Will it be enough? That is the question. Will it be enough to turn the tide? And it is a tide. We're in a dreadful situation in this country. And I got some hope at the weekend, but what I was thinking was we cannot let the people down. We've got to think things through. Keep harping on about it. I keep going on about it. We've got to be built on ideology. Is Nigel Farage really grounded in ideology? Probably instinctively, he thinks he knows what he wants. But I really believe that you need to put more meat on the bones, and you need to have an ideology that everyone will sign up to. I met a man about 3 weeks ago in London. He was a political guy. He's working on certain political ideas, which are very, very good. working on how to more on the mechanics of how to get people elected, particularly independents. However, great guy. He didn't have ideology. He didn't have a consistent ideology. He had a great plan of how to get people elected, but he didn't have an ideology to back that plan up. And again, that's what I keep going back to. That's what we've got. We've built that in the pledge. We've got an ideology that people can sign up to. And I think that's very important. We're not going to win this election. When I say we, I mean the Patriot movement. And we've got, I suppose, the reality is we've got to try and bring people together. I think it's going to be very difficult with Farage. I think Farage is going to be very difficult to bring along to our way of thinking. And when I'm talking about our way of thinking, I'm talking about the people that went to the demonstration on the 1st of June. Tommy's people, Carl Benjamin's people, Paul Thorpe's people. It's going to be very difficult to tie all that together and to give buy-in for the British working class. That's what I believe. Again, I could be wrong, and in the comments, please let me know what you think. Another establishment for well, I mean, that's it, Jimmy. Another establishment figure trying to give people a choice. Exactly. But is he giving them a choice? That's just Labour. Do you know what, Paul? I get what you're saying, and I was on a live stream with Paul Thorpe last night, and he basically pretty much said, look, you've got to give Nigel a chance on this. Richard, I think this is the establishment play after the success and groundswell support. Yeah, totally. I mean, yes, I agree. I think what happened at the weekend was the establishment saw what we pulled off. And when I say we, I mean everybody that went. I mean everybody that worked there. The amount of work that went into that, the amount of money that went into that, absolutely incredible amount of work and money went into that. We have an ideology, well, this is the thing, Daniel. We have an ideology based on the 10 Commandments. Again, I'm very one-track mind. When I go down a tunnel, I stay down that tunnel, and I believe that everything we do needs to be grounded in Christian values. I genuinely believe that. Doesn't mean you have to be a Christian. Very few of us can manage to actually live up to what the gospel asks of us. But that's not what it's about. It's about having that ethos in politics. There's two different things there. There's faith, and then there's building a community and a country on Christian principles. The two are connected, but the two are not actually the same thing. That's why you can have Richard Dawkins, who's an atheist, saying he believes in Christian values and not Christian values, Christian heritage, and he appreciates Christian heritage, but he won't accept Christianity. I have a big problem with that. I think it's wrong, but it is quite possible to be an atheist or to be someone that doesn't live a good Christian life and still want that to be the way that your country's influenced. And I think it's massively important. And I think we need to find a way of getting back to that. But I don't want to go down that road too much today because I want to talk about Farage and what he's doing. Is it like the other lady just said in the comments, that the establishment saw what we did at the weekend, panicked and thought, we need to be on this because these people are going to cause the problem, trying to head us off at the pass? Personally, I think it probably is. Being brutally honest with you, that's how I feel. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. Do you know what? I really hope that I've got this wrong, and that I'm saying things about Nigel that I'm just completely misreading. He is an excellent communicator, better than me. I can't even say communicator. He's an excellent communicator. He can put his point across very, very well. But has he got the depth of thought to understand exactly what needs to be done? I'm going to pop a website up on the screen. Hopefully this will work again. I'm not fantastic at doing these streams, because talking is one thing, doing technology is another. Good and interesting thoughts, Richard. Whatever the ideology, it must be grounded in Christianity. I agree with that. Sadly, it's come very... Yes, absolutely. That's what I believe. Now, again, I'm not going to try and impose my beliefs, because there's too much of that going on in this country at the minute. I don't want to impose my beliefs on anyone. I want to try my best to make change in the country and be positive and love my neighbor and love my enemy, those sort of things. That's what I'm about. We've had enough confrontation politics, we've had enough street confrontations. We've got to get to the stage where we have a country that's filled with communities that love each other and see themselves as a family. We want to see Britain as a massive family of people that are connected by love for Christian ethics and a love for the flag and a love for the country. That's what I want to see. Who are the TUV in Northern Ireland? Okay, the TUV, that's a very interesting question. And I'll tell you why. The TUV would be extremely Christian. They would be Free Presbyterian type people, a lot of them very loyal to the Crown, very loyal about Northern Ireland. It's an interesting fit, that, with the TUV and Reform, because I don't think it is a very good fit, but that's just, again, these are just my opinions. Jim Allister is a Christian man. He's very hardline. He's very hardline against Republicans, against the IRA. I agree with Jim Allister. I'm 100% on the same page with his politics. I would say the TUV and Jim Allister would actually be a better fit for the Tommy movement, let's call it that, and all that goes with that, than with Reform and Nigel and his city slicker mates. That's my opinion on that. The TUV, if the local candidate in my area that I'm voting for, I'm going to do another video on this sometime. The local candidate I'm voting for in my area is supported by the TUV and the DUP and Reform by default. So that's the sort of dynamic we've got. And he's an independent unionist candidate. So there's all sorts of little alliances bubbling up and coming together. Let's have a look at this. What does this one say? Reform are organised opposition. Only real nationalists can save us. The only hope is the NA. I don't even know what that is. Jesus Christ would want you to preach the gospel to the masses. Don't be afraid of doing so. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. Craig, I tell you, I spent many years preaching the gospel in churches and on the street. I just feel in. Well, I'm not going to go into it, but the reality is that I've had certain challenges in my life that makes me feel like I am not in a position where I can preach the gospel. But I will always share my faith in Christ and share what Christ's done for me and how he's changed my life and got me out of a lot of scrapes that I got myself into. And I believe in the living, risen Christ. And I believe in the atonement. I believe that Christ died for the sins of everyone. So there's not a problem with preaching the gospel and sharing the gospel. 1700, the peasants of UK were brought into the church to make us better behaved. I think that's just nonsense. Sorry about that. Okay. What else have we got here? Is there a reform candidate in Sheffield? I'm sure there is. You need to check that out. See what's happening there. He got Brexit. He got Brexit. Now let him exit towards. Yeah, I would love to. I'll be honest with you. Who's that? Flirty girl too. I would love Nigel Farage to get rid of the Labour Party and the Tories and win a massive majority if he was going to do what we want him to do, which is stop migration. I have a big problem with the Brexit, not the Brexit party, with the Reform Party, with their one in, one out migration policy. Let me explain what that is to you. They call it net zero migration. It sounds like they're going to have zero migration. It's completely the opposite of that. What they're going to do is let hundreds of thousands of people in from Eritrea, Libya, Pakistan, Syria. You're going to get Abdul and Asif and Mohammed coming in from those areas, and you're going to lose Nigel. Well, not Nigel Farage, unless he goes to America. You're going to lose Jeremy, Joseph, and Bill. So you're going to lose the accountant, Jeremy. You're going to lose Joseph, the joiner, and you're going to lose Bill, the builder. Because people who've got any money and are doing well will leg it when they see the terrible state that the UK has fallen into. I'm in it for the long haul. I've no money and I've no intention of leaving, so I'm not going to go that easy. But a lot of well-to-do people will leave, and then if they're leaving, the one that you get in, where's he going to come from? What's going to be his skill set? So that's the problem I have with net zero migration. I think if you drill down into it, hear what Richard Tice said when he was talking about it before he was fired by Nigel. Richard Tice said it would still mean that you have about 400,000 people coming into the country a year. If you want that, vote Reform. Having said that, if there's a chance of Nigel completely slaughtering these people, maybe just let him have a go at it. Let him tear away. I don't think he is. I really don't think it's going to happen. Nigel likes a milkshake. I heard banana and salted caramel as his favourite. He got £350 as a result of that flavour. Okay, was that his compensation, was it? Okay, got it. Farage is a cheap imitation of Tommy. I love that. Tommy would love that too. That is brilliant. Farage is a cheap imitation of Tommy. Superb. Okay, what else have we got here in the comments? Unite the right. Excludes is a key. Exclude idiots and drunks. Yeah, uniting the right. That's what I want to do. I'm gonna just show you this site here, guys. If I can do this, bear with me. Let me see if this works. Okay, just let me try this. So look. Okay, let's try this. Share this time instead. See. Okay, cool. There we go. We got it. Right. Okay. This is the website. It's very simple. And what I want people to do is read through all this slowly. I'm not going to read it now because I haven't got time because it's a live stream. But go to the pledge.org.uk. I will put the domain. I'm not sure if I can drop it in the comments. I'll try and drop it in the comments, but I'll certainly put it in the video once I've stopped making the video. This is something I've worked on with a colleague for over a year, and it comes out of really the 7 years we've been in the movement, seeing where things go wrong, seeing where things slip into genuine extremism, seeing where we can find center ground and find somewhere that we can say things that the majority of decent British people agree with. And I honestly believe there's about 37 people in this country could sign that pledge. Genuinely believe that. And I've shared it with some of the influencers in the movement, and obviously they can take it and do what they want with it. It's it's there for everybody to use. And if people want to post it on the website, so all we ask is that you give us a credit and a backlink so that we can sort of say, well, this is the actual ideology and this is why we've done it. But yeah, so that's a really an important thing in uniting the right. If we can unite the right around ideology as opposed to just saying, well, let's just unite and the things, we don't disagree on everything, but that's okay. To be honest, it's not okay to disagree, to disagree on a lot of things, because you're not really united. It will eventually fall apart. So if you have someone that's virulently anti-Semitic and racist and they're a right winger and they want to unite with me, it's not going to happen. And that's not because I'm being divisive, quite the opposite. I want people to unite around what is right, and racism and anti-Semitism is never right. It's always wrong. So it's like the left. I mean, the left is going to tear itself apart because the left has tried to unite. It's tried to bring itself together in one house. But I think we'll find this with the Labour Party. I think we'll find that the Labour Party will very, very quickly fall into all sorts of problems because of the whole thing with the extremism on one side, the hard left socialist workers types, and the religious extremism, and then the so-called progressives that are extreme as well. These people into all the woke stuff. So I think that will all eventually collapse and go wrong. By the way, we've got some really good views here. I mean, 378 people watching this now. That's great. And I think we are in a very, very exciting time about in British politics. So Farage was rattled by the mark. I agree with that, and can't handle Tommy being well thought. Do you know what? I honestly think there's something in that. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but I really do think that Farage saw what happened at the weekend and went, I want a piece of that. And he's got a piece of it. But I am so concerned about our country. I mean, this is literally taken over my life. I'm so concerned about our country that look at that. I mean, I'm a Christian living in a Muslim country. I support you all and stand up for your country. That's wonderful. They're the sort of people we want to come to the UK. You know, if you're a Christian and you're living that sort of life, and you're in a Muslim country, you've got more courage than probably most of us here in the UK. Okay, Farage can't be trusted. That's what I think. I'm sorry to say it. It might sound very harsh and people might get upset on me, but I don't think we can really trust Nigel. We need a strong Christian in charge. Is not scared of death threats. Plain and simple. Is Nigel that? No, I don't think Nigel is. I'm sorry. I don't think Nigel's that man. And again, I'm not. I've got to be careful that people. Do you know what? I don't actually have anything personally against Nigel. I know it probably sounds like I do. I don't. I just think what Lil says here is absolutely right. His ego is huge. And listen, every single one of us that does this, at whatever scale, has a huge ego. When you go and speak in front of a crowd and everyone's saying how great you are, which Nigel will get all the time, of course it builds your ego. I fall into that trap. Many other people have fallen into that trap. And we've got to we've got to, you know, really get over that, you know. So yeah, anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm doing a live stream with Danny tonight. Says hi, Danny. So I don't know if Danny's on this. If you are, let me know, Danny. So yeah, I'm going to do a live stream with Danny Tom at 8:30 tonight. So please feel free to jump on and watch that. I'm not sure who else is coming on. We're going to talk about what happened at the weekend. We'll talk about Nigel. We'll talk about all sorts of exciting stuff. It's going to be on Danny's channel. We'll see if we can share it to my channel. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible with the setup he's got, but I think it probably is. So that's me for now. I'm going to go and get a cup of tea. And do you know what? When you're doing a live and all these really great comments are popping up, it makes you not want to jump off the live. And when you let's get us over 400 people so we finish on a high, because obviously it's good. Let's see what we got. Farage is a fence sitter. Farage is a fence sitter. When have we ever heard him talk about the world? Well, this is the problem. This is the problem that I've got. Is Farage a fence sitter? I think he is. At least he's a fence sitter. We've got 400 people on. That's fantastic. I'm going to stay on a bit longer. We've got 400 people on. And there's Red Eye. And my Red Eye, well, my Red Eye is not so red anymore. I'm glad I'm not alone with trusting Nigel. I remember 8 years ago, once bitten, twice shy. Fool me once. Yeah, fool me once. Shame me. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. That's very true. And we did get fooled. You know, when the Brexit referendum happened, I saw Nigel's face the next day. And he almost looked like he didn't want it. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong about that, but that's the feeling I got, that I was looking at him going, do you really want this? So, yeah, let's just wait and see what happened. I tell you what, yeah, Speaker's Corner. This weekend, I think there's going to be a lot of Christians going down to Speaker's Corner to have a peaceful protest, and I stress peaceful. One of the things I think about our movement is we've got to be very, very careful about not slipping into extremism and not slipping into violence in any way, shape, or form. We've had it put upon us for a long, long time. We've had it put upon us for a long, long time by lots of different groups. And apparently there was a Bible desecrated at Speaker's Corner last weekend. If that had been a Quran, there would be riots up and down this country now. I saw what happened. There was a Bible, the pages were ripped out, it was thrown all over the floor. If that had been a Quran, there would have been there would have been mayhem. But it's a Bible. It didn't even make the news. I saw it on social media. It didn't even make the news. So as far as I know, there's going to be a lot of Christians going down to Speaker's Corner this weekend. Obviously, if they're Christians, there should be no violence whatsoever. It just shouldn't happen. Yeah, Christians aren't just persecuted, they're slaughtered wholesale. There is a genocide going on. It's not going on in Gaza. It's going on in Nigeria. It's gone on in Nagorno-Karabakh, where the Christian population has been completely cleansed from that area by Azerbaijani extremists. It's gone on in Turkey. It's gone on in Syria. It's gone on in Iraq. It's gone on in Pakistan. It's gone on in Indonesia. It's gone on all around the globe. There have been these. Oh, there's my old mucker there. Danny, how are you, mate? Good to see you. See you tonight at 8 o'clock. So we cannot have that. We can't have Bibles getting desecrated at Speaker's Corner. It's not acceptable. It can't happen. Now, what do we do? I think, I mean, as you know, I live in Northern Ireland. I can't be in two places at once. But I think we need a big turnout at Speaker's Corner. I don't like putting calls out when I'm not going to be there, because that's not the right thing to do. If I'm going to put a call, I should be there, but I just can't be. I haven't got the money. I haven't got the time. I've got to think about my family. So I won't be at Speaker's Corner this Sunday because I'll be in Northern Ireland. However, if you can get there, get there. Only go if you're going to be peaceful. Only go if you're going to make valid points. Speaker's Corner is about speaking, not fighting. There's a lot of Muslim thugs go to Speaker's Corner. That's the truth. And they need to be shown how to protest and how to communicate properly by people who are articulate and intelligent. And they use all the dour down there. They use all the pathetic apologetics. But let's be honest, we know the truth, and the truth will set us free. So, guys, I'm going to get off because I've got to think about what me and Danny are going to talk about later on tonight. It's going to be good. So get on Danny Tomo's channel. You find him on YouTube. I'll try and get a link to that and to the pledge in the description here. But we're living in exciting times, and I'm encouraged by everything that's happened. I'm very worried about what another social media takedown, especially if the Labour Party get in. I'm just going to post this web address in here just before I go. And Danny, if you're still on this, mate, if you could post the link to your channel in the comments, if that's possible. I don't know if you're still on, mate, but if you are, feel free to do that just before I close off. 406. That's not bad for, what is it, Tuesday afternoon? That's because people are excited about what's happening. And if Nigel Farage proves me wrong, I would be delighted. I don't think he will, but if he does, that would be great. Just wait out here, guys. We want to get Danny to post his channel in the comments here. So we've got a link. So we're just waiting to get a link dropped in here, and then you can all dive on, and basically you'll know where to go this evening. In fact, I wonder, can I find it? Just bear with me. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. YouTube. Bear with me. Okay. You got it yet? Look. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Lost a few there because I wasn't talking. Yeah, I'm still here, guys. I'm still here. So yeah, that's going to be 8:30 tonight. That's the link to Danny's channel. I'll see if I can get a link to the actual live. Come on. No, I can't get it. It's not to worry. I don't know if Danny's done it, has he? Anyway, guys, look, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching. At one point we had over 400 on, which is great, and that's just on YouTube. I don't know how many were on Twitter. So, guys, thanks for jumping on. It's just a pleasure to be able to interact with everyone like this. Every single voice is valuable, even if I don't agree with you. Unless I really, really don't agree with you and you've been horrible, then I won't put your comments up. But the vast majority of people that come on these channels are, just you know, we're all of a like mind, and we're all trying to do something good, and we're all trying our best to save the country, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I mean, I think all of us have gone through a very long journey over the past 8 years, and 7 years, 8 years, however long it is, and I hope we're a bit wiser and a bit more humble than we were when we first started. And I'm hoping to be a bit less argumentative than I used to be. I want to tell you something. I've learned a lot from Paul Thorpe. Paul Thorpe is an absolute gentleman. And we disagreed last night on what we were talking about. There was absolutely no battle. There was no falling out. There was no, you know, backbiting. It was just, you think this, I think this, let's agree to disagree. And that was it. And that's the way to do it. And he's a very, very gracious man. So if you haven't been on his channel, dive across to Paul Thorpe's channel. You find it, just type Paul Thorpe into YouTube. He's got a channel's absolutely smashing it at the minute. So guys, I'm going to go. It's been great interacting with everyone, and we'll do it again tonight. You've got Danny's link on in the comments there. Hopefully you guys can all see those comments, and we'll do it all again later on. Let me just scroll up. There we go. That's it there. So that's Danny's channel there. I don't think that's a hyperlink, but you know, just go onto YouTube and search for Danny Tomo, and you'll find his channel. Right, guys, I'm going to go. See you all at 8:30 on Danny's channel, and let's talk in more depth about what's happening in the country and how we can navigate through these exciting times and make something great of Britain again. See you all soon.